Silent sinus syndrome. Totally, we have 4 pairs of sinuses in the head, in the skull bone. Out of that, 1 pair is seen here, one inside here and one inside here. So, sinus is nothing but air-filled spaces in the skull. So, you have one sinus in here and one sinus here. That is what is shown in the diagram here. So, let us see how this sinus works normally. So, sinus, it has got a lining inside and it secretes, it has got its own secretion, and all the secretions, it goes through this opening into the nose, tracks posteriorly and goes down to the stomach. That is a normal mechanism. Now, in this condition, that is silent sinus syndrome, what happens is the opening of the sinus, the antrum, this is an antrum or sinus, the opening of the sinus is blocked completely. So what happens because of that? All the secretions get pent up here, it gets stagnated here, and it develops negative pressure inside the sinus. So because of the negative pressure which lasts for a long time and the mucosal changes, you will have bone changes and the bone around it becomes thin. So what is the structure just above the sinus? It's the eye. So what happens because of the negative pressure and the thinning of the bones, the floor of the orbit, this is the eye, this is the orbit, the floor of the orbit becomes thin, it sags down. So volume of the eye increase, the volume of the sinus, the concerned sinus becomes small. So silent sinus syndrome means a syndrome in which where the opening of the antrum, that is I am talking about the maxillary antrum, it gets blocked and the whole sinus slowly starts shrinking, collapsing because of negative pressure, and you have associated changes in the eye. That is silent sinus syndrome. Why silent? Because it doesn't have sinus related complaints. Most of them, they go to the ophthalmologist first. That's why. So why do you have the obstruction only on one side? Not known. So it is idiopathic, and usually it is seen above the age of 40 and less, between the age of 40 and 50 years. And the cause of obstruction of that ostium and this unilaterality is not known. So this is what I have explained, the steps, what happens inside the sinus. Now, the presentation. The patient, they go to the ophthalmologist first, and the patient complains, say that the others have complained there is asymmetry between both the eyes. And as the condition becomes worse, the disease progresses, what happens because of the volume of the eyeball, volume of the orbit becomes more, the eye comes down to the lower level and the patient develops double vision, that is called as diplopia. And since the retraction of all the bones around the sinus, there will be depression of this area too. So if you ask them, do you have any complaints here, any pain? They don't complain of pain as such, but they say there is a discomfort in this particular area. So on examination, as the patient has mentioned, if in the early stage we can see asymmetry of the eyes, and as the disease progresses, the eyeball of that particular side will be at a lower level and there will be sagging of the lower lids too. These are the findings. So if you do a nasal endoscopy, we will not have much positive findings which is suggestive of this syndrome. We can confirm this with an investigation, that is by doing a CT scan of the sinuses. So in a normal CT scan, it will be like this. It will show that both the maxillary antrum, it will be of equal size. Likewise, the orbit above the maxillary sinus, that also will be of equal size. And what happens in silent sinus syndrome is that, as you see in this CT scan, the volume of the sinus involved will be lesser when you compare to this side, and the volume of the eyeball becomes more. Of the orbit becomes more, as you see in this picture. And the lower lid or the floor of the orbit is also sagging down. So we have a CT scan also which is suggestive of silent sinus syndrome on examination as well as investigation. Now, coming to treatment. So as I have mentioned, the cause for this condition is because of the obstruction of this sinus. So we have to remove the obstruction. We do that with the help of an endoscope. So endoscopically, we do a sinus surgery. So endoscopic sinus surgery, and we make the function come back to normal. So we have termed it as functional endoscopic sinus surgery. So if the patient has come to us in a very late stage where he has started complaining of diplopia and there is destruction of the orbital floor and significant sagging, in that case what we do is we do a staged procedure. In the first surgery, we will do a functional endoscopic sinus surgery, followed by, after a few weeks, if the patient doesn't improve, we can reconstruct the orbital floor too. So this is how we manage silent sinus syndrome. Thank you so much.